Oh golly, the road's getting bumpy cause I got me some friends. So I was like, I'll do a reaction video once the whole season is over because no one wants to watch me sit and talk for 8 episodes long. But then I started watching this episode and I was like, this is gonna be a good one. So, hello everyone, you will suffer me.
Succeed.
Annabeth.
Customarily, one waits to at least hear a name or two.
Chiron's like, boy, you got no chill. You're really out here exposing your crush in front of everybody.
The mission required someone to push me down a flight of stairs for it to succeed. You want someone who won't hesitate when they do it.
He's like, bruh, are you okay? Are you mentally unwell? Wait, that reminds me of a quote. Annabeth frowned. Don't you get it, Percy? You are home. This is the only safe place on Earth for kids like us. You mean mentally disturbed kids? I mean, canonically, I kind of feel like this camp is for mentally disturbed half-bloods.
Who'd you choose?
I chose you.
Why?
I trust you.
This emotional payoff for the change they made in the first episode where Grover's like, peace out, bro, you're on your own, I'm gonna sell you out to the school, is so satisfying to see, and it's a great example of the importance of making changes in adaptations, because in lieu of Percy's internal monologue, which is telling you, the reader, how important Grover is to him, this was a little great moment to convey the strength and the importance of Percy and Grover's friendship to viewers who might not have otherwise understood that without Percy explaining it to them.
The most powerful being in the universe's best idea to save his daughter's life was to turn her into a tree?
And he turned her into a tree. Please tell me there are theater kids out there who get this reference, otherwise I'm gonna look silly.
And transformed her into a tree.
Do exactly as I say, and maybe you survive this. Are we clear?
I know some people thought Annabeth was too closed off and cold, and one, I think this Annabeth is very accurate to how Annabeth was in the first half of the first book. I think people forget she was just like that. Annabeth stared at me. I couldn't tell whether she was just grossed out or angry at me. Why did you come so young? None of your business! I know she didn't say it like that, but that's how I would have said it. Shut up, goat boy, said Annabeth. Girl was just like that. Guys, let's remember CB Brain did not start off as an endearing term.
Oh golly, the road's getting bumpy cause I got me some friends who just can't get along. When the team's getting grumpy, the trick to
I
getting
love
through
this
it.
so much.
is
I
singing
love this
to
so
everyone.
much. Besides that song just being a bop, do the kids still say that? Am I out of touch? Besides that song slapping, it's served. That song was fire. Besides that song slaying, absolutely not. Besides that song being really funny, it was a great way to tell the audience who Grover is. Because when you have a trio of protagonists, what you want to do is you want to be able to differentiate each member of the trio to have a distinct personality. And a lot of the times writers will take a character like Grover who is earnest, who is good-hearted, who is maybe lacking confidence a little, and they'll point to him and they'll go, aha! I differentiate you by making you dumb. But that song somehow really conveyed his earnest, good-hearted, and underconfident personality and showed how he is different from Annabeth and Percy without just resorting to the dumb trope. A+, no notes and extra credit to the writers. That is how overwhelmed I get anytime I walk into a grocery store, but I don't have the excuse that I'm a half-blood who has lived at camp my whole life and has never been on a quest before.
My mom used to tell me her story. And the point was always that she isn't what people think. And I definitely trust my mom. So I'm going in.
I love this change. I think... Oh my god, should I say it? I like this change better than the book. Annabeth recognizing the monster makes more sense. It just does. I get the argument for them waltzing in when they smell the hamburgers. They didn't get enough stranger danger lessons at Camp Half-Blood. Chiron didn't tell them not to accept candy from strange gods in vans. I get that. I know Percy is impulsive, and it shows that. And maybe this moment was also showing that these kids were not as prepared as they thought they were. I get the logic behind why they just run into every trap every 2 seconds in this book. But I think it makes more sense after they were just attacked on the bus that they would be wary. And Percy understanding that it's a trap and going in anyway also demonstrates his impulsiveness, while at the same time demonstrating his boldness and determination. Remember, it's hard in adaptations to get character traits across when you're lacking that internal monologue and when you have less time to demonstrate everyone's character. I think if they had kept it like it was in the books, viewers would have just walked away going, oh, these kids are dumb, and that's it. Instead, in this moment, we get Percy is impulsive and determined. Annabeth is intelligent and stubborn. Grover is scared but brave. Boom, boom, boom. Knocked it right out.
You love her?
Of course I do.
And so did I. I embarrassed her and I needed to be punished. Not him. Me. But they only want what all police want. They want us to blame ourselves for their own shortcomings.
That is not what happened.
Your mother and I, we're like sisters in a way. Targeted by the same monster.
A monster? My mom never talked about my dad that way.
Shifting Medusa's character in this scene, having this scene really focus on the internal struggle of the protagonists about their godly parents, giving the villains a little nuance. If you've read the books, you know that those changes all serve the story very well and are going to have a lot of emotional payoff later. They also really help viewers understand what Percy's going through, his internal struggle here, because they don't get his internal monologue from the book. So it would have been hard to convey that without having these characters sit down and explain how they're feeling. And no one wants to really sit down and watch exposition. I think that was one of the problems with the first couple episodes. There was a lot of just characters sitting and explaining. So now that we're over that introductory phase, I think changes like this, where explanations and internal motivations can be conveyed without having characters sit and talk, just through the circumstances of the scene itself, I think that's really, really smart storytelling. And I also understand I might have a different perspective on changes made from the book as someone who just read the book. I haven't held the book version of events in my heart for as long as some long-term fans have. And I don't say that to make it sound like new fans' opinions aren't valid, because we don't gatekeep in this house. But I just mean that people are going to have different feelings and perspectives when it comes to changes they make to the show, and that's okay. I'm not trying to make the argument that you have to love these changes or think they're good, but just in my perspective, I think these changes really help translate the book to screen format better.
Now!
That was a very intelligent way to keep that scene PG, Disney. You know, they were stressing in the writer's room. They were like, sir, how are we going to show a woman getting decapitated without Bob Iger personally coming and burning my house down? Decapitated? What? Let me see that. This is it, pals. Our career is over. There's no way to make this scene family friendly. The hat. The what? The hat that makes things invisible. I won't lose my house.
See this as impertinent.
I am impertinent.
I'm so glad they kept that line in. Alexander Hamilton. I was not expecting that. I love this show. I love what they're doing with it. I love how they're expanding on the books and how they're adapting it to screen and how they're keeping it book accurate all at the same time. Again, I'm coming from a place of the bar being in the underworld because I just watched the movie, which was not a good adaptation. It was an okay movie. It just was not a great adaptation. A good show tells an overarching story over the course of an entire season and entire series, but also tells a smaller story within each episode that contributes to the overarching story being told. And this episode did that masterfully. This, in my opinion, wasn't just the best episode so far, but also a masterclass in how adaptations should be made. And that song, it really did slap. If you liked that, please feel free to like and subscribe. Join our little fandom family here. And please let me know your thoughts in the comments. It always gives me a new perspective when I read your comments, and I just need people to go crazy discussing this show with, so please discuss it with me. Also, all of you are geniuses, because last time I said, what's a good outro for a Percy Jackson video? The overwhelming response was something along the lines of, thanks for watching the damn video. I gotta show this. I spent so long mounting these lightsabers on my wall, because you know what I thought? I thought, oh, this is gonna look so cool when I can have them lit in the background. And I forgot these lightsabers are so loud. I cannot talk over them, but look how cool they look. I can't even turn them on in the video. It's so tragic.